folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the beautiful landscape of Scotland. And today I'm out for a wee road trip and I'm way to just visit loads of cool wee locations. But when I saw this amazing view looking over the lands of Angus and the lands of Scotland, I thought I'll pull the car in and we'll do the intro. So for the next section of this adventure, folks, whoa, I really dropped the camera. For the next section of this adventure, we're about to go and hunt for frogs, because years ago I remember seeing frogs. Wait a minute, I'm sorting the windsock out. I'm sorry about this, folks. But yeah, years ago I saw loads of frogs and stuff up at this place, this location we're going to, and I thought it's cool to head up here and have an explore and see if I can see any frogs, because I think it's the time of year when they'll be kicking about, because I've seen them on the roads in the evenings when I'm driving. They often cross over the roads on like the wet nights. So I'm heading up to the edge of Loch Shandra at the overflow, and then yeah, we'll bounce on to another location after this. This is just a short wee bit in the middle of the video here, the little search for frogs. So let's get into action, folks. So for this section of the adventure, it's actually really cold. Since I got out of the car, I was just literally in the video. This is a completely different episode obviously, but in reality I just ended the last video at the top of that 500 BC hill fort, and the temperatures there was actually warmer than this. Now we're in the lands of Glen Isla. That's where Loch Shandra lies, and it's actually one of these little Scottish glens. It could be said a glen's almost like a county within a county. It's just a small area of land often, or a road. Some glens you have to turn around at the top and drive back out of them. Other times the roads go straight through and like onto another glen. Like in this area it's Glen Isla, then Glen Shee. So it's quite interesting. Then there's like Glen Prosen, Glen Clova. It's all these individual little areas. But a way of thinking it is a county within a county. And it is cool to explore each of the areas. Each area's got its own character. Look at that thing, folks, crossing the path right there. It's bright red, look at that. It's pure red. Strange looking beast. It's not a tick, but it does look a bit like a tick. It's crazy how vivid red it is. I think it's actually a spider. It's a pure red spider, folks, and it's vivid red. It caught my eye as I was walking. And it's no very big. Because look, there's the size of my finger next to it. Crazy. The sort of things you find in the wildlands of Scotland, the type of creatures. I hate all that creepy crawlies, like, but when you're out and about, you're just face to face with stuff like that. It's like wild nature, and you just don't know what you're going to see. Like a spider, bright red like that. They always say a bright red colour like that in nature often means it's poisonous or whatever, but I've not really seen a spider like that that's fully red, with even like red feet, red legs I should say. Oh, look at that, that's a frog there that's been crisped. This is what I was saying, there's loads of frogs out just now, and sometimes it's maybe been run over by a forestry truck, but sometimes at nights the frogs are just all over the roads in Scotland, like, and I've seen it in the headlights of the car. Sometimes it can look like leaves or whatever sitting on the road, but it's just that quantity of frogs. Anyway, I'm just about up to the frog spotting zone of all things. Yes, look at this, folks, we've made it. There's a fair bit of water flowing over the overflow today. Let's open the wee gate here. Always close the gates behind you in Scotland. That's the countryside code. Look at this. Beautiful scene, folks. How can you get mad at seeing that? There's also a wee fishing boat kicking about and a swan. On the far hill I can see a couple of the wee crofts and little houses that I've explored over the years. That's the cool thing, you often find the amazing wee spots like this to come back to when you go to other adventures like that further away. Over the years you learn the land and you find the coolest spots. But see down here, this is where I've seen a mad amount of frogs, down within these stones. And that's why I wanted to come here and just see today if we can find any frogs. Because it is cool seeing stuff like that up close. This is like a mad, like, natural frog habitat here, and that's how we can see so many of them on the forest track that's been crushed. Yeah, let's hop down. This is the overflow here for Loch Shandra Dam. This is all a man-made dam wall here behind me, and I have explored there in detail. That's how today it's more about just having a wee bit of fun, a short wee few clips here. Look at the construction with the concrete, the way the water pours down, it's just beautiful. I'm going to have a wee poke about here now and see if we can see any frogs. I'll be surprised if there is no frogs here. Like, I'm looking down within the little rock pools and the little holes between the rocks there, because that's where I've seen them before, and I got some cool close-up shots of them one time before, like years ago. Oh, hey, look at this, folks. It is just paradise. All these stones have been laid in. It's like a riverbed, but it's completely man-made, this area here, for the runoff of the water. Yeah, let's keep pushing on. I'm obviously aware of the ticks as well, which is within the long grasses in the lands here. It's the realest of adventures on the channel, folks, and you know it. I'm out all these places poking about and having a look. This is what I say, it's a bit of fun. Sometimes to find frogs or to see stuff like that, you have to go into these places. I'm going to head on down under the bridge, I think. Here we go. What a mad scene. Yeah, look how on a sunny day like this you can see down between the rocks, and you can see if there's any frogs down in there. And that, oh look, there's a weird creature there. Look at that. Look at that, folks. See it moving around under the water. What even is that? And that's what I tell you, there's stuff to be seen out and about. Again, what even type of creature is that? Don't know how well that comes out on the camera. Yeah, it's almost like there's a cobweb, but it's like under the water. It's like an underwater cobweb, but that wee thing's like moving around. It's like some kind of snail. It's like not even in a shell. And that's just that one little bit. And look, I can see a snail there. Wow, folks, it's like going to another planet sometimes when you look a wee bit closer into these areas. And the amount of animals and stuff that's down within the little sections. Wow, look at that. It's just like everywhere you look, it's like another world. The way the water flows down through. The creatures there just basically make it their home. Look at how clear the water is in a place like this. It's mad how I can see stuff that looks like spider webs through, like underneath the water. I wonder if you get like underwater spiders. Get in the comments, is that a thing, folks? Underwater spiders. This is an old bridge here made with railway sleepers, and that's how it's a cool bit. It's not so overgrown under this one particular area. Yeah, I can see like sea snails and stuff down within this area as well. It's quite like green and mossy. I need to try and no slip over and land within the historical wonder here. Oh yeah, like there's like stones and things. I just keep looking down and recording these little nuggets as we go through. Let's take a look around this corner at the edge of this madness. Check it out, folks. Loch Shandra Dam. And a little frog hunting sesh. You can watch all about on the channel. Whoa. Even seeing that wee red spider on the road though, it's like things I've never seen. Each year I see an animal that I have never seen the previous year, and I'm thinking like, what else is out there that I've not seen yet? You think one day you would have probably seen all the animals that exist, like. Yeah, I can't even believe that I've not seen even like one frog or anything like that. I wonder where they go. I wonder how there can be so many in an evening, but then during the day they're just not around. They're maybe underneath these stones rather than like sitting in the open, because they can probably see me coming long before like I notice them. So there we are, folks, another tranquil paradise spot here on the channel, mixed with the industrial look of the old concrete slowly getting covered from the moss and the wildlife over the years. And it was a cool little spot to come to on this video for a short segment. We had a look, but I could not see any frogs. Whoa, there's a swan out here dipping down. It puts its head under the water and its tail sticks up in the air. Whoa, that's mad. Anyway, just check that area out. Yeah, today we found no frogs, but that is a prime frog finding area. I've seen them over the years there, and I thought this is the time of year to actually see them. Sometimes they've got a real vivid kind of green colour to them. Anyway, we're in and out, folks. I've only probably been in there for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's actually a cold breeze coming down the way now that I'm up at this side of the glen. Let's move on to the next segment of this video now, folks. I'm going to go to another location, maybe even in a different glen or a different piece of land. Who even knows where I'm about to go? Whoa, there's a bird of prey just flying over into those trees. Up here there's some massive buzzards and red kites, and I've been amazed at that as I've been walking. Yeah, I wondered if it was a way to circle and come back around, but I didn't see it. It's probably got its nest in these trees here. Listen to the birds here, folks. The noise the birds make as you walk. That thing there, it's just constantly making that noise. Mad little beasts. And the forest here is just full of that, the bird noise. Often when you're in the middle of it, you don't realise it until you take a minute just to listen. And they're all just kind of crack with each other, you could say. Look at this, folks. I've punched on further on up the glen from Glen Isla because I'm wanting to show you this. It's one of my favourite views in the world. Look at this today. This main road is so wild and remote. It's got these cattle grids, and that's to stop the livestock obviously moving off certain areas of the land or running away from the farm and going away down the town, as they say, folks. But yeah, I'm going to run down this road a wee bit because I wanted to show you this view. The view gets better once you go further down here, but the car park, there's a decent bit of park the car at, basically. Sometimes there's nowhere on a wee narrow road like this to pull in when you see a good view, but because there's a car park so close, I thought it's so worth coming and recording this. Just look at it, folks. The wild highest mountains, Mount Blair up here. In recent videos we were down at the shores of like the River Isla in Glen Isla and stuff like that, and that's right down in that hollow. And wow, this is such a special scene right here, folks. You can see there's now a phone mast or whatever on top of Mount Blair, and that's a good way of telling like what mountain you're actually looking at. It is a wee bit windy and a wee bit blowy here, but look at this, eh? What better place to stop the car? Insane scenes on the channel once again. Yeah, you can just see so far all over these directions. Look at this, folks, we're in the next area. Boom, check out this for a crazy explorer. Look where we are right now. This is the madness here, this is the overflow here at Lentraan Reservoir. The water's super low just now though, so it's mad to come down into this little corner of Scotland for this little segment of the video and wait to jump over this slippery section. You have to watch out because the cement can be so slippy in areas like that. Check it out. Normally the water's flowing around here when the river's in spate, but the water's quite low just now at Lentraan and Backwater Dam. Oh yeah, what a cool place, folks. I came down here because I thought it'll be out of the wind, but there's actually a super strong wind right to me, like right to the other side of this area here. I was waiting to say right to my left hand side and I thought that doesn't sound right, eh? But over this other side of here is a massive Scottish loch, which is Lentraan Loch, folks, and it's mad to think about that. We're down below the level of the water, and it's a cool spot to come to see the way that all this concrete is shaped. This is a mad little man-made structure, and you know what it's like on my adventures, folks. I love little places that I can come to like climb around, have a wee explore around and just see see what's around basically. It's just so cool. Little corners like this. I love to see the construction, such magnitude, large scale operations when they built things like this. I can hear my voice echoing. Oi! Yeah, it sounds crazy. Look at this. This is interesting because the water's no coming over the top, but look, it is clearly coming through the structure of this dam here. That's why it's still running down. See, through this join in here. That's where the fault is, like, because look, it's got that rubbery sealant stuff between it. That is interesting to see though, for sure. At least if it burst away up here at this end, it wouldn't be probably as bad, because the overflow system should still control the flow of the water as it gushes away down the valley. This is cool, folks, check it out. I need to try and, I was going to climb up here, but look how flooded this whole rear section is. It's shaped like this, so as the water comes off the loch, the flow of the water gets broken before it hits the lower section of the river. Video update, folks. I've actually been home since the last clip, and I actually went on another adventure. I went all the way up Glen Esk. I went on the bumpy road between like Brechin and Edsall, which is a nightmare just now. It's needing resurfaced, and like I got up to the location, I didn't even have the camera with me, folks. So I'm back out again. I went home, got the camera, so I can bring the world along with me on the adventures. And I just thought I would pull in when I was driving past this historic gate. This is the old Ald Bar Castle gate, and this used to be the wee gate lodges at the side. And you can actually see there's still like little fireplaces. I'm not going to hang about because I don't think the owners of the properties up here don't like you parking at the gate. Look at it there, the wee fireplace, the wee lodge house. Look at the shape of this window. It's incredible. But Aldbar Castle actually got destroyed and it's no longer in the lands, but the wee gate gives you a clue of the architecture. So this just looks like a normal forest here at the edge of Angus, or in the lands of Angus I should say, but it's actually a special historical forest because apparently there's actually Roman burial mounds within it, and it's called Montremond Forest. And literally in World War I they also used to fly airships and have a landing area in here, and apparently there's squares cut in the ground where they used to actually land the airships like Zeppelins. They used to fly about in those things back in World War I, and there was a few landing areas for them on the east of Scotland, and this is one of them actually at Montremond Forest. One day maybe in the future we'll have to go into the forest and see if we can locate the landing area or even the Roman burial mounds, because that's an interesting wee adventure. But another cool thing with Montremond, it was actually one of the main listening stations for Great Britain in World War II, and it was linked with when they cracked the Enigma machine or the code or whatever it was. One of the main listening stations was actually in Montremond Forest as well. So that's a historical forest, and I just thought I would tell those little stories of history as I drive past, because to many folk it just looks like a normal forest, and just think how much has actually gone on in this one area, and that's only literally in probably the last 100 years. Literally like military history and wartime history in this area. Anyway, on with the next area in this adventure, folks. So check this out, folks. I've pulled in at the roadside here at the opposite side of Montremond Forest to where I was a minute ago, and I just thought I would throw the camera on and record this. I'm not sure if it's a private residence or what, but this is some of the last remaining World War II buildings here on the site. And this is interesting because it's different to the British Nissen huts that you used to get for the British Army and such like. This is actually a Canadian Nissen hut, and it was actually somebody's house until recently. But I'm just going to walk down this track a little bit and take in the beautiful summer evening. I'm calling it summer, it's actually springtime. But look at that. Look at the character of that Nissen hut, folks. I think there had been more buildings here back in the time of the war. And look, there's been more buildings there as well, it's fallen down. This also would have been military buildings, and there's more bases here which must have had constructions on them. I think there had been multiple Nissen huts though, because this chimney stack that you can see standing there is actually also been a Nissen hut back in the day. And I've never walked down here all the years I've been exploring. It's cool to have this piece of like history on the channel, the military history. And like I say with my videos, you never know where I'm going to end up. All those wee buildings, it's so cool often to see the details that's left from the wartime history. And I think this road takes you up to a private residence at the far end as well, a couple of miles. That's why I'm obviously coming with respect. Yeah, look, there's the little fireplace and stuff. The Nissen hut is still there, and I can't believe it. Wow. There's been like a water tank and stuff in it. It's a proper bog now. At one time it would have been drained and maintained, and you can see the structures just falling down. I had never seen that though, the style of the Canadian Nissen huts. And that's obviously the ones they had used here. Look, there's a building up here as well. It's interesting to see the military history, and on the channel we've documented so much over the years. Most of the like local airfields and interesting buildings like that. It's cool to have this as well. This was actually one of the main British listening stations, and there was probably rooms for the soldiers and the people to do all sorts of things. Look at the character of this, folks. It is just breathtaking. Look at the old windows and things. They'll be original World War II. You can see where the electric had gone in. The wee cuppies are still on there. Ceramic cuppies. Wow, that'll be the original glass and stuff in the windows. It's amazing to see this. I'm not sure if they had generator sheds or other buildings related to the site originally, but also there's more bases over here which has been of similar construction. World War II construction. Let's have a quick look over here and see if we can figure out what the original purpose of this shed was. Wow, I'm sure they would have had a lot of high power requirements. Whoa, this is insane, folks. I think all that has been originally buildings. I can hear bees or wasps. Look what's in here. It's like there has been... Can you hear that? Oh, I can see it now, the bumblebee. Yeah, look, there's been some serious apparatus mounted here. This is crazy, folks. World War II history. And look at these beams. They go right through the wall. This is unreal right here. I can't even believe it. This is what I love about spontaneous adventures. Often I just see a spot and then pull in. This looks just like so disused. It's just like a forgotten land. And it is cool to document it before it gets knocked down and stuff like that, because obviously in a few years things like this will just fall down or get knocked down. New development sometimes comes on the land, and here, this is crazy. I always say there's loads of ticks, and people say there's no that many, and look, on that blade of grass alone right there, 2 ticks. And then even the area I'm walking through, folks, there'll be ticks galore. Wow, see nowadays, folks, it's a serious problem in Scotland. The ticks are just absolutely strife in the lands, and they're all over the place. Each blade of grass can have multiple ticks, and I need to step my way out of here cautiously. Look at this history though. Wow, that's how sometimes certain adventures are off limits at this time of year, just because of the severe problem with ticks nowadays. And they're such horrible creatures. You can catch all sorts of things from them. Let's take a walk back along this site. Yeah, I was going to have more of a look around, but you know how it is, folks. Like, I'm not just going to get covered in ticks. Because it's not just like 1 or 2. See, nowadays, folks, there's just like multiple ticks per plant head or grass head. And I'm always just keeping one eye down when I'm exploring. Look at this. Hey, the character of that. I bet you originally that would have had a cement render over it, like a lot of the buildings we've seen. But it's hard to tell nowadays. It's like concrete downpipes or whatever are unusual. I'm not sure if this was also used after the war as well. The interesting thing, the reason they selected this site for their communications and their masts and their listening stations, there was a high iron content in the ground, and they could literally get a stronger signal because the ground also acted like a big kind of like dish, you could call it. Yeah, I can see in there and it's just like an empty shed. I'm not really wanting to be poking about too much, you know how it is, folks. I'm going to go and have a look. I'm very wary of these ticks here in the grass. That's how I'm not wanting to poke about if I don't have to. Whoa! No way, look at this thing. This is genuine World War II, look. What is this contraption right here, folks? Here, I just about walked past this without even having a look. Check it out. Look, it's got a chain here at this side with like a weight, which goes down. And then look, it's got that bit there. It's like a fuel pump. Here, that shows, folks, there's a fuel pump system here, and that might have been because the shed we just looked in would have been the generator shed. And that's incredible, look at this. I've never seen World War II fuel pumping equipment before like this. This is blowing my mind. Wow. Look at that Venner, but it's in great condition. It's got a dial in there, AM and PM, so it's a timer. Daytime and nighttime timer. And look at pressure gauge. Wow, look at the whole right in it. It's in great condition, really. And then wiring, which I don't touch. When I'm on my adventures, I try obviously to avoid poking about with stuff like that in case it's still alive. Yeah, what a madness. The wire goes way out through that wall. Wow, I should have been here a few months ago. Oh, there's a pole here. That makes me think, where's the tank? It's probably under the ground. Somewhere in the forest. Somewhere in the land, folks. This is epic. I'm trying to see if there's a make on here or whatever. Quennington. Gloss, England. So it could be Gloucestershire. Oh, there is a maker there, look. HJ. Looks like it says Goodwin. Or Quadwin Limited. Looks like QODWIN. Wow, that's some mad. Look at that. I don't know what's been here at one time to turn the pulley. This must be a pump. But I'm thinking this is such a strange contraption here. Oh, that must be the fuel on-off tap or something. So interesting. I love history like this, folks. Little nuggets, unseen for years, almost gone and forgotten. And it says motor, heaters. Could be like, I'm not even sure what, folks. Wow. Look, it's got that hole at the roof, which is unusual. Wow, it's like valves. That is so interesting, folks. And I need to push on. Wow. Yeah, so that there must be some sort of generator shed that I was in a minute ago, and that'll be how there's electrical wires been going into the wall and stuff like that. Whoa, I'm running, jumping, louping, as they say in Scotland, folks. But that's because there could be tiny ticks. See, after seeing them, it's like, see on the lowlands of Angus nowadays, or even inland, it is just insane the number of ticks. And I say it a lot in my videos, but it is important when you're out and about to pay attention to that, because you can end up covered in the things. That's the reason I tuck my trousers into my socks, so they don't like run up the trousers, because they can bite you and you've got no idea. Just think what other buildings have been here, clearly by the outlines and the surrounds. That was amazing to see that, and I'm thinking below here could even be the tanks where that had been pumping the fuel. But like, out of respect, because I think it could be a kind of private residence, whatever, I'm not going to go poking about and go right into that area. It was just fun to see what we saw there today. And I love the character of that, the Canadian this and that. And over the years I've heard a lot about this place, but I've never stopped. So tonight it was cool to include that in today's videos. You know how it is, we're always just out here in these wee adventures, just seeing what history's left, especially from the World War II time period and that kind of area in history. Some of my favourite stuff to explore. And I love the wee windows, they're little panes of glass. All this has been like sheds and stuff, I think, at one time. It's like the boys had a wee chicken coop. And then this here's been some kind of garage. A lot of the World War II history will be gone and forgotten for these places. This could just be the bloke's stuff that used to live in the house or still lives in the house potentially. Look at this little thing. It's like a vintage saw. Normally the blade would be here and then this arm moves back and forward and cuts the piece of metal. It's for blacksmithing. It's a blacksmith saw basically, a hacksaw. Industrial hacksaw, folks, mad. Little things like that, it's probably too heavy for most folk to move out. They've just left it. But think about the original World War II purpose of this building. I wonder what it had been. That's the theories I love to come up with. I love to think about the World War II history. Because it is almost gone and forgotten. It's such a shame. Little historical places, or it could even just be one little thing, a nut or a bolt on the ground. History that can go missing so easily, that tells a little story of what went on. And judging from the amount of concrete and stuff on the ground, there's been so many other buildings here as well. Judging from what I'm seeing, it's like somebody has been clearing the land and stuff though. That's how I'm just no poking about, folks. It would be such a shame if the old Nissan hut as well got taken down. It's actually cool to see that, because I've never seen one of those Canadian ones before. I think that's really rare to get a Canadian Nissan hut. I keep just looking down and making sure that I didn't get anything on me. I'm just wondering if that wood there I'm seeing, it looks like a boat hull, but I wonder if that's part of another Nissan hut that's been there. There was probably so much going on here. It's a hustling, bustling area in the war. And now it's on its last legs of existence. These old structures from the 1940s. Standing here in this forest, and it's cool to show that wee bit of the history of the forest. I can see more parts of a wooden structure over there, and I think that's been also more Nissan huts. And it's crazy the different conditions of each one. That's mad, folks. I always promise you cool things on my videos, and sometimes it's a mixture and match of little things I've been doing. But there's cool things like this in between. I just love this. Little bit of abandoned history, almost gone and forgotten. And if somebody renovates it, at least now I can say I've seen what was there. Because that old fuel pumping system there was so cool. That made it worth it. Anyway, on to the next place on this video. I'm not even sure where I'm going. I'm kind of just going all over the place on this adventure, folks. So stay tuned. See where we end up now. Check this out, folks. Mission update. Like, you can see the rainstorms inland, and look at the way the sun beams is coming down through it. I've basically pulled in at the top of this hill. Since the last clip, I've kind of been heading through the lands, and I just thought I would pull in when I saw this incredible view. Look at the North Sea out there. The coastal lands is over this direction, and this is the little village of Inverkeeler. And there's actually like Lunan Bay and loads of crazy spots over here. And after such a crazy weekend of exploring, I'm going to find a wee spot or explore a wee area somewhere this direction. But when I saw this, I just thought I need to update the video. Right, folks, for this next section of the video, I'm going to go down to this little secluded kind of beach area. It's like a wee kind of secret beach. On a night like tonight, I can't even believe that there's no other cars up here at the roadside. I've got you a mad camera angle there while I get my coat on. I'm putting my jacket on for this one. It's an evening walk, but it's like getting a bit chilly. It's only 11 degrees Celsius, folks. So I'm all about the adventure, folks, and when I'm not working, I'm all about going out for adventures, and it's so cool that I can throw the camera on and take YouTube along on the journey with me to all these mad little spots that I end up going. This is Sunday evening now, and all weekend I've been doing little clips as I go around doing what I do. It's almost a vlog of Scotland here, and just showing you wee corners of it and little things that we do. some of the stuff I've been recording in this week's video is kind of often maybe wouldn't have recorded back before. So it's cool to often change it up and keep it fresh, keep it like evolving, different ways of catching camera angles or whatever. So if it's a full moon, folks, that depends on whether the tide is further in or further out than normal. When the moon's at its maximum fullness, that's when you get the highest and the lowest tides. And this weekend it's a full moon and the tide is so far out just now, it's just incredible. I'm just making my way around to that little cove, the little beach area that I was kind of heading to. So I've made it round to this little secluded beach area, and there it is up there. And look how far away the water is. Normally the sea is right up to that line and it comes right in this cove here. It even normally goes over the top of the rock I'm sitting on, which is insane to see. Look at that. Scottish seaweed right there, folks. So tonight's adventure just goes to show everything happens for a reason. I literally forgot my camera. I went to the location, realised I didn't have it. I went home, and that was the way we found that amazing World War II history, which was so cool to find. Now I'm just going to chill out here. This is like the wee secluded bay, and it's amazing to watch the waves roll in. And it's the sort of place you hardly see anybody. That quite often people walk the coastal path at the top, but sometimes I've sat around this area and the waves just crashing right up high here, and it's such a nice spot here on the coast of Angus. There's so many little spots like this in Angus, and it's like, if it's windy like it is tonight, once you come down to this height, or you can pick any kind of bay or little area, you're often out of the wind, and it's just so peaceful. And when I was walking around, I was staying in the sunshine, but it's quite warm. I've got my coat on, but that's more for the breeze, because if I'm still out when the sun sets, you're better being prepared. There was a few times this weekend, I've been on so many madnesses this weekend, folks, you know how it is on this channel, one place after another, but sometimes it's been a bit chilly. We have had that heat wave, but today it's been less so, getting a wee bit cooler. And in the previous years when I've been walking about or exploring, I've found some total mad colours of stones in a place like this. And I love the coast, it's almost different each time you visit. It's amazing also the wee nuggets that's like washed up at the shore. You can see the high tide line there, probably from the last tide, where that straw is right up at that height. And because of the full moon, like I said a minute ago in the video, like the tide will be really high when it's fully in this weekend, and then really far out like that. You can, in the east of Scotland here, we've got a massive difference between high and low tide as it is, even at the best of times, like, so it's crazy. Like, I love exploring places like this though, folks, and what better place to chill out at the end of a mad weekend of exploring. Through the week I'll be uploading the videos, even tonight I might blast home and edit up the next banger for you lot. So much fun. I can hear a jet plane or something going over. I can also see seagulls. There's so many seagulls. And then there's a rock over there separate to the mainland. That's Bird Rock, I used to call it. Amazing scenes, folks. Anyway, I'm going to chill out here for a bit and just watch the waves roll in. It's just paradise. Little waterfall behind me. Look at this, folks. Over the brow of this hill here is Bird Rock, and I'm making a manoeuvre here on it so we can get a close-up of the seabirds without scaring them. Look at them. Oh, one's flown away. It's those big black seabirds. I'm not sure if they're cormorants or what they are, but there's a lot of them on that rock. And I was just sneaking up the little path here, moving a wee bit further. Oh, they've all got into flag it. Look at that, there's a hole there, maybe a rat or a moose, a vole, some kind of animal like that. Yeah, all those birds. That's Bird Rock out there. You can see the state of it for the bird droppings. So I've moved location now, folks, and I'm chilling out on a different rock. I've moved away from my cove, and this is like a different cove a little bit further along. It's kind of just peace and tranquility at this time of night, looking over the sea. The sun's gone down a little bit lower now in the sky, but it's still ages away from sunset. This is kind of about 7 PM, I reckon it is right now. In that cove there, me and Highlander actually found an old abandoned like motorbike frame, a vintage motorbike there in the summer when we were exploring. And down the coast a little bit further, it's hard to walk to because of the tide, but the little cottage that featured In last week's videos, I was actually at that cottage, but I walked from the other side at Oozing, and that's what I enjoy on my channel. Each time, I'm not just like at the very same bit of coast or whatever, I go to wee bits, and over the years, my viewers get familiar with the surrounding areas that I do explore like this. Because obviously we had the main nugget of the video, exploring like a bit of history and stuff, but the wee adventures in between, it's so much fun. And this weekend I've been throwing the camera on that extra few times just to update the viewers, just to show how the adventure really is. Like, it's not just going to the place and that's it. There's so much in between, the journey there, the wee things you see along the way. And I've just loved coming out here tonight and chilling out as the sun sets. I moved up onto these rocks because the sun was actually shining on me, but I moved down lower for this clip, so I'm out of the wind again. But yeah, I'll update you once I move on to the next spot probably. Over the edge of here, I think it's just like the ferocious sea. I've not actually looked over the edge of here yet, folks. Let's do it. Yeah, there is another shelf of rock down there. And there's a scene, the birds must chill out on there as well. When the tide's in, you would be right on the edge at this point. Yeah, that's mad, folks. It's so deep, so dangerous. Right there, it's like straight down. You cannot even see the bottom. It's not that clear, but even if it was clear, it's still super deep. There's Bird Rock over there. Looks like a volcano, a miniature volcano or whatever, the shape of it. So I was back round chilling at the little secret cove, and I just noticed, look at the size of this ore in the rock. This round piece here is actually an ore, and this is all volcanic rock at one time flowing into water. And they always say the bigger the ore within the rock like that, the quicker it was cooled down, and that shows it was flowing into water. But that there is almost football sized. That's the biggest ore that I've ever seen in the middle of there. It's incredible to see that, and it's only because the tide's low that I was even at this level of the beach. I don't mean to bore you by looking at rocks and geology, but if you look at this colour in here on these rocks, that's totally natural here. And you've got to think, it's just a madness once you look a bit closer. It's almost like a turtle shell shape within the rock. It's just blowing my mind when I see stuff like that. You would think there's been rocks or something sitting on top of it, but that's literally the colour of the bedrock. So a funny story related to me exploring and the coast. I actually lost my car keys one time in the North Sea when I was doing a video called Underwater Angus. It's still on my channel. I literally recorded under the water to see all the sea life and stuff like that. And when I was doing that video, I don't even know where my car key went. So nowadays when I'm at the coast or anywhere, I keep my car key in a zipped up pocket. And yeah, that's a funny like story. Look at that there. The water comes into this channel in front of me and it sloshes up in and it just dead ends on that rock face. And that's how it keeps wearing it. Those boulders and pebbles just churn, flow, and I love just doing that. I'm moving just slowly around the coast, finding these little spots and just chilling for like 5 or 10 minutes and then moving on to the next bit. But tonight it's really just staying out of the wind. Some of these lower coves, it's quite mild because I'm out of the cold wind, but when I was walking over the peaks of some of those hills there, it was really cold and I was glad that I put the coat on. Oh, this is cool though, folks. The sea's a bit murky, but I think it's because it's so far out. It seems to go that colour when it's turning. The tide turns, and I've said it before on videos. So this video's been a bit of a behind the scenes. Not only the abandoned historical wonder that I went to with the World War II history, but a snapshot into my life, like before I went to that, what I was doing today, this morning, throughout the day, places I've been, and then forgetting the camera and going to that other location and then having to turn back. And that was how I went and found the World War II history, and then to come here just for a wee wind down of my weekend's activities. It's just so much fun. I love the noise of the waves as they crash into the shore, and as I go past each rock pool I'm just keeping my eye open for any animals. I would have shown you if there was any cool animals, but I've seen loads of those anemones and they've got little red fingers that stick out. I'll jump down to this rock right now and show you. These things here, these are anemones, and they actually open up when they're under the water, and if a fish or whatever or anything really goes against them, they close like that. Look at this, folks. This is the coolest rock pools I've seen. This one weaves its way through the rocks, and there's actually a dead crab down there at the bottom. And then there's another crab there. I'm not sure if it's dead. There's loads of crabs in this rock pool. And that's what we're about on this channel, folks. Not only the history of Scotland, but also the nature and the wild places. And what better place to end today's video than this little spot at the coast. I'm out of the wind. I'm watching the sunset light up the yellow fields at the far side of Lunan Bay in the lands of Angus, looking out over the North Sea. Nowadays I can see wind farms on the horizon, but beyond there is like Norway, Denmark, crazy lands like that. And shout out everybody that watches the channel from all those incredible countries, people all over the world. It's so cool I can share wee adventures and show you the nature of Scotland as well as the history and what's been done here at a certain time. Each country's got their thing, but Scotland's just so special to explore, and hey, wee adventures. Anyway, I'm ending this one here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with the next one, wherever I end up going.